goes on to Obama. Obama says, and I did mark up quite a bit because he did answer. This is, you can see, that's all McCain had to say versus Obama, which he had to say quite a bit because he's really, it goes on to there. 2 pages. Well, a page in order. Okay. Well, I think that it should be a right, and he said that kind of initially, a right of every American. In a country as wealthy as ours, for people who are going bankrupt because they cannot pay their medical bills, for my mother to die of cancer at age 53 and have to spend the last months of her life in the hospital room arguing with an insurance company because they are saying that this may be a pre-existing condition and they don't have to pay her treatment, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. So let me just talk about fundamental differences. Number one, let me just repeat, if you've got a health care plan that you like, you can keep it. And all I am going to do is help you to lower the premiums on it. You still have a choice of doctors. There's no mandate involved. Now, it is true that I say that you're going to make sure that your child has health care because children are relatively cheap to insure, and we don't want them to going to the emergency room for a treatable illness like asthma. Now, the final point I'll make on this whole issue of government intrusion and mandates is it is absolutely true that I think it's important for government to crack down on insurance companies that are cheating their customers. And there is another problem to go shopping state by state. You know what insurance companies will do? They will find a state, maybe Arizona, maybe another state, where there are no requirements for you to get cancer screenings, where there's no requirements for you to have pre-existing conditions, and they will set up shop there. This is what they did in the banking business. The Delaware is one of the biggest areas for mortgage companies. They set up there because they have super lax laws, and credit card companies. If you ever look at your mail and you get those credit cards that come to you, look at where they're coming from. They're coming from Delaware because they have extremely lax laws. So again, let's go back to what was asked and what was said. Is it a right, a privilege, or a responsibility? McCain says that it's a responsibility. It's up to you and I whether we want to have health insurance. Obama says the complete opposite. It is an absolute right. Every American should have health insurance. Nobody should go without. And then like I said, he gave just this much of an answer to a major problem here in America that should tell you, you're talking this much space versus this much space, how important this is to each of them. Not very important to McCain, very important to Obama. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so this is the last question, and it was super airy-fairy, and I loved it. It was pretty funny. I swear this should have come from Asheville, not from New York, which is where it came from, I believe. New Hampshire. Okay, close enough. They're similar to Asheville. Tom Brokaw says, and I warn, it has a Zen-like quality to it. What don't you know, and how will you learn it? I have no idea. I don't even know that answer. So how they're going to answer that it was funny. But here we go. Obama says, my wife, Michelle, is there, and meaning there in New Hampshire, and she could give you a much longer list than I do, and most of the time I learn by asking her. But look, the nature of the challenges that we are going to face are immense, and one of the things that we know about presidency is that it's never the challenges that you expect, it's the challenges that you don't that end up consuming most of your time. We need a fundamental change. That's what's at stake in this election. That's the reason I decided to run for president, and I am hopeful that all of you are prepared to continue this extraordinary journey that we call America. Senator McCain is given time to answer. Well, thank you, Tom, and I think what I don't know is what all of us don't know, and that's what's going to happen both here at home and abroad. There are challenges around the world that are new and different, and there will be different. We will be talking about countries sometime in the future that we hardly know where they are on the map, some Americans. So what I don't know is the unexpected will be. But I've spent my whole life serving this country. And he goes on to talk about serving in the country. Okay. The question was, what don't you know, and how will you learn it? Senator Obama says that the biggest thing that he says is that it's never the challenges that you expect. It's the ones that you don't that end up consuming all of your time. So he kind of answered it. I don't know how you can answer a question like that. That's one of those really redundant questions, but he came as close as he could. Senator McCain goes on to talk about how there's issues of home and abroad, and that there's challenges coming up all over the world. And then he makes a mistake, and he basically calls some Americans stupid. He says the future that we hardly know where they are on the map, some Americans.